Welcome to the Art of Quantum Healing, where we speak about trauma, mental health and healing. I am your host, Lisa Nadler, and I'm thrilled to have you come into my energetic field. In this podcast, I will be sharing my own personal experiences to guide, teach, and help pave the way. We'll also be welcoming so many other divine souls who have overcome trauma and found happiness, health, wealth, and next level abundance through mind, body, and soul connection. My mission is to help women high vibe and thrive with inner peace, passion, and purpose.
I'm really excited to start sharing with you the next expansive part of what we're now creating. As you know, I haven't been able to do retreats. It's been very hard. I'm going to use that word hard, even though nothing's hard. Not being able to be in that beautiful space of what we love doing. And now that we are now back into it again, I just really want to come on and just be more active in here and really get that beautiful sense of just juiciness back again, so to speak. So one thing that really happened before that was extremely profound that I wanted to share with you was I was thinking about the nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty. And don't ask me where it came from. I think I heard somebody else speaking about it in another group, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So Humpty Dumpty, right? Humpty Dumpty's on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty together again. And I was like, well, that's pretty short and sweet. That's interesting. Make sure as you're coming on, you're saying, hi, guys. And I was like, well, that's interesting. It doesn't really feel like much, Humpty Dumpty. It's a funny nurse rhyme for kids, but we always know that there is messages in everything. And this one really stuck in my mind. Sorry, I'm just logging out of my computer. And I was like, why do I keep having this come back into my field? So I sat there and I really thought about it. And it's interesting where I am now. Like, as I said to you, I'm at we were having the retreat on the 30th of June. And I was like, holy shit, I was Humpty Dumpty. I was Humpty Dumpty. We're all Humpty Dumpty, right? So when you think about the nursery rhyme and you think about the simplicity of it, because it's very simple. And, why couldn't they fix him? He was broken. Okay, there was the first place I went wrong. He was not broken. He was not broken. So Humpty Dumpty chose to sit on that ledge. He chose to. He made the choice. He sat there in all his glory. He looked down and he chose to sit there and he was okay with it. He then fell. He took a leap. He took a chance. He made a decision, and for whatever decision that was, he fell, right? He smashed. He smashed everywhere. He was what they call broken. He was everywhere. There was pieces of him everywhere. Then all these people came in and they tried to fix Humpty Dumpty. They're like, oh my goodness, we've got to fix Humpty Dumpty. Poor Humpty Dumpty. Poor Humpty Dumpty. We've got to fix him. We've got to fix him. We all have to come together and fix him. And they couldn't. Now I think about myself 8 years ago when I was sitting on that ledge, metaphorically. I was sitting on that ledge and I was at a real turning point in my life. And we sit on ledges all the time. It's not that it's this big profound thing that happens, but we sit. Whenever we're making a choice, we're sitting on a ledge. And what we decide to do is what happens next. So I sat on that ledge and I knew that I had to transform. I had to change. If I didn't, I was literally dead. I was in that moment. And also, just a side frame, nobody's broken. This is the part that they didn't get with Humpty Dumpty. I wasn't broken. I was just lost. I was confused. There were pieces of me everywhere. There were fragment pieces of me everywhere. And I made that choice then. I sat on that ledge and I was like, I'm coming home. I don't care how I do it. I need to get through this. I have to survive. I have to come through. I don't know if there's like a lot of new people on my page. I was alcoholic and addict of a lot of forms. I was rinse and repeat with different men. I would just because I was looking for a father figure, because I had massive abandonment. I had panic attacks. I had anxiety. And one day I took too much and I woke up in hospital. I thought I had a heart attack. And it wasn't. It wasn't. It was just a very, very severe panic attack. And then it happened again. And I knew that the next time it happened, I had actually had an overdose, and I knew I had to change. So I was sitting on that ledge, and whatever I did next was what was going to happen. And I decided to jump. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew I had to in some way come back to myself. I had to reconnect. I had to discover myself. I had to see what was on the other side of all this addiction and turmoil and mental abuse and self-abuse and everything. I made a decision that I needed to change. So I jumped off the ledge, and I broke. And I broke everywhere. I was a mess. And all these people were coming in, and they were trying to fix me, just like Humpty Dumpty. Just like Humpty Dumpty. Bless them, and I love them for it. But we can only fix ourselves. We can only heal within ourselves. We have to make that choice. We have to make the steps to come out the other side of whatever that we're in. And for however long we have to stay in there, or for however long that we want to stay in there, we are consciously making that choice. Now, the fragments of shells for Humpty Dumpty, all those little bits of shells, they're the fragments of us that are out there. They're our beliefs, they're our patterns, they're our fears, they're our stories, all these different things, they're our experiences, they're who have made us today. They're parts of us that we have disconnected from. And we've disconnected from them because in some way we haven't felt safe, or we've had fear, or we've molded ourselves into how we thought we needed to be, or we've become something else. Or like for me, I had to get myself submerged in a space of addiction to hide my pain, because I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to look at what I need to look at. I didn't want to look at the abandonment. I didn't want to look at the patterns I was doing. I didn't want to look at where I need to heal. I most certainly did not want to stop taking alcohol and drugs, because I loved it. I'll be honest with you, I loved it. But I knew I had to, because I was going down this place of no return. And whether it's something, and it doesn't have to be as big, like you can have little parts of you, like maybe it's your relationship with your body. And you're sitting on the edge of going, God, I need to do something. God, I just need to just start honoring myself and honoring my body and loving that little bit more. And you're sitting on that edge like Humpty Dumpty. And only when you decide to take that step over, or you decide a conscious decision that you want to change, will you then do that. And the fragments, they're not scary. His shells, he wasn't broken. There was just parts of him that he needed to reconnect to. There were parts of him inside of himself that he needed to heal. There were parts of him that he needed to really look at. There were things that he needed to discover about himself or herself. I don't know if Humpty Dumpty was a girl or a boy. You know, there was parts that he needed to reconnect with in a big way. And other people. There were people that he needed to let go right now because they weren't good, so that he could go down on his healing journey. And bit by bit, he could start piecing himself together. Bit by bit, he could start finding those bits of him that he'd left behind, that he locked away in his childhood, or that he wasn't really understanding the worthiness of who he was in all his glory. Just like me. Just like me. I was living in the pain, the shame, the grief. I was living in the fear and the anxiety and the not wanting to see. And I didn't realize the beautiful human that I was, the beautiful person that I was, and the potential I had inside of me. And in this last 8 years, I have bit by bit, and I'm still putting my egg together. It's an ongoing journey. I'm still putting my egg together. The fragments bits are still coming back. And why this is so profound is the first thing I did when I took that jump is I actually went to a retreat in Bali. That's why it is so, like I'm getting teary-eyed. It's so profound that I'm sitting here in this retreat center and I'm realizing, wow, this was the first part of my journey. This is when I sat on the edge and I said, I've got to make a change. I'm here for bigger. I'm here for better. We're all here for such greatness. And it's what we fear the most. But when we can start putting together parts of our outer shell, and we can seal those cracks in, and we can make ourselves whole again, then we can really come back to ourselves. we can realize how fucking amazing we are, each and every one of us, and that we are worthy of so much greatness. But it's a choice. It's an absolute choice. I could have decided, like Humpty Dumpty, just to lay there and just not do anything and just think, oh, well, this is how it's meant to be. Or I could have chose to make a conscious decision to leap, to take that leap and do what I needed to do to make myself, to bring myself back to the wholeness. And it's an absolute ongoing journey, and it can be messy and it can be sticky. I mean, you think of an egg, if it's sitting out in the sun, it's like, pooh, that's not good. You know, there's parts of the egg that are everywhere. It's just like you, but when you start to come whole again, you that beautiful, gorgeous egg, which is pretty much, when you think about it, how you are when you were born. Okay, we don't come out of an egg, but we come out in that beautiful place of just fresh. Everything's new, everything's fresh. We are who we are. We're our complete soul. And it's only when we go through parts in our life that a part of our soul starts getting less and less and less, and starts hiding away a little bit more, and the masks come on, and you know, and the different ways that we now find ourselves, that we are trying to make the decision of what do we do next. Do we do what Humpty Dumpty did? Do you do what I did? Do you do what, you know, you've done? Whatever part of your journey, it doesn't matter. You might have been doing a lot of beautiful inner work. But what's the next part of your growth? What is the next part that you need to sit on that ledge and commit to? So we're all like Humpty Dumpty. We're all sitting on that ledge. We're all going to make a choice if we decide to sit on that ledge, or we decide to sit back and just watch everybody else. If we decide to commit to ourselves, and we decide to make the conscious choice that we're ready to heal and bring back those lost fragment pieces of us that make us who we are, that make us full, whole, the inner freedom, the peace, the oneness, the connection, the reconnection. Because we are all worthy of so much, but we have to make that conscious choice that it's time for change. And I remember that retreat. Good grief, I remember that retreat. I was like a little lost girl. I was, you know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was exactly like Humpty Dumpty. I sat there and I went, I've got to go all in. And then I have been like Humpty Dumpty so many times when I've made different, when I dealt with my sexual abuse, when I dealt with my addiction, when I dealt with my panic attacks, when I dealt with my mental, when I dealt with my, in fact, I hated myself, like I didn't like my body. So every part of me, when I've made a conscious choice, the next part of my growth has been Humpty Dumpty sitting on that edge. And then when I've hit the floor, I've decided how I'm going to put myself, those fragmented bits back. I'm not broken. Nobody's broken. We're all just trying to find ourselves in this craziness, in this human existence. And our soul is ready for us to reconnect. Our higher self is sitting there going, let's do this, let's do this. So the more you can allow the ego to go quiet and sit like Humpty Dumpty and just allow what needs to happen is when you're going to have the most powerful, profound, potent changes in your life, and when you're going to heal and you're going to grow the most. And it can be little things, like I said, like, well, it's not little. I mean, it could be something about with your body. It could be a part of you that you're just trying to understand what's happening with your mind. It could be that you have a constant pattern of meeting men and pushing them away. Okay, let's look at that. Let's sit on that ledge and let's have a look at that. Because what's on the other side of that messiness underneath is so beautiful. It's where your biggest joy, it's where your biggest joy lies. You got this. We've all got this. We're all so much more powerful and beautiful and amazing than what we give ourselves. And we're worthy. We're worthy of being a beautiful, complete vessel, a complete selves within ourselves, that we can really cause change in our life. And it is a a choice. So I want you to sit there and think about if there's any part in your life right now, and I'd love you to share it, that you want to start work on. I want you to make a commitment to what you're going to work on next within yourself, what you're going to look at. It's not working on, it's looking at. What are you going to start to unravel? What are you going to start to really take a moment to honor where you are more worthy? Is it love? Is it relationship? Is it money? Is it sex? Is it passion? Is it pleasure? Is it play? Is it your business? Is it that you know that there's more for you out there? That you know that your business can be bigger? Or is it just something within yourself that you know that you need to have that little change so that you can cause massive expansion at the other side? And peace and inner peace within yourself. I would love to hear what you're going to commit to next below. So much love. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Make sure to check out all the show notes of today's episode on my website by clicking on the link in the description. Also, make sure to join my newsletter to receive a free guided meditation to help you feel grounded throughout your day. Finally, make sure to subscribe to my channel and help us grow the community by sharing it with your friends. I am your host, Lisa Nadler, and this is the Art of Quantum Healing.